So let's go in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, thank you Ted. You always want to get on the show no matter what. Welcome to the Falcons Corner, voice of the Falcons, Mike Rickert. The good guy to know, the co-host all the way over there, Danny Berg. Behind the camera, SID Tom Ferguson. And then standing in the center, the creator, the director, the producer, the whatever.
Videographer,
yes,
photographer,
Chris Hughes. Now that you're a big documentarian, are you Christopher Hughes?
No, I prefer Chris. Christopher makes me feel like I'm in trouble.
All right, I'm the same way with Mike and Michael.
Yeah,
Michael, I'm in trouble. But I thought since you're at such a higher level now,
I'm not big time yet.
If you're just Christopher,
it feels good.
But I think add the middle name because although they add the 3 names, you know what I mean. So what's the middle name?
John.
So Christopher John. So John Hughes. So if we eliminated the first name, you could be John.
I could be the next John.
You could be the next John.
Yeah.
See, John Hughes.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hughes. We're going full names. We're going everything.
Christopher Jonathan.
It's
Hughes.
Michael Christopher Daniel
Esquire the third.
Thomas. All today on the Falcons Corner. But we have you on today because we are talking about They Sleep on Us. Documentary from 2019 National Football Journey, I should say, that you put together. So we're all excited. So just give us a little bit of a rundown here.
Yeah, I mean, for folks who aren't aware, in 2019, our football team went to their first ever national championship appearance. It took 22 straight, wins without a loss to be able to get there, to qualify to go. And so really, this is a documentary that covers the team's 3 days in Kansas.
Right.
All the way up through the national championship game, we got the privilege to use the actual broadcast from the NJCAA.
Right.
So folks who didn't get a chance to watch the game because they didn't have CBS Sports or whatever like that, they can kind of relive a little bit of it. We told the story of a football game in 20 minutes, but the story of the team is a lot longer. So there's 16 hours of footage that were used to cut down and get to this. There's 170 gigabytes worth of film. There's 2,200 different files that actually went into making this thing, and it all comes down to 88 minutes. And we're showing it Friday for homecoming, and I'm super excited about it.
Good, awesome. It's exciting. And I was, out of the 4 of us here, the 2 of us were the only one fortunate enough to really be out there in Kansas. Danny had stuff to take care of back here.
I don't even Tom wasn't here,
in the Lackawanna College world.
Blip on the radar yet at that point in time, but we're glad that he's here, and you guys were out there, and all I handled was your travel arrangements.
Yes,
basically.
and you did you did a great job. But I got a chance to watch it, and it brought back a lot of memories of being out there, and the guys that I'll never forget the players on that team. And the guys that had prominent roles in interviews and stuff were absolutely tremendous, and just shows type of character kids that we bring in and bring out of this place.
Absolutely, and I think what a lot of folks will see is there's one player in particular who plays really heavily into the documentary, played very heavily into the team. Take Jair Brown, who's currently at Penn State, and I think what I hope to kind of show people is these kids are great football players before they go to Penn State, before they go to West Virginia, before they go to Nebraska, and so hopefully if folks come out Friday, I'm hoping a lot of people come out Friday, they get an appreciation of what we do here, because Penn State filled the stadium with a whiteout crowd on Saturday. It's tough for us to fill seats on a Saturday, and these are where a lot of these players get their start. So that's why I think telling the story is really important.
Right.
Yeah, I think that people have a better appreciation and understanding of why someone is here, whether it was injury, lack of exposure, sometimes, and not even all that often anymore. Maybe just didn't come from a high school that hit the academic standard that was required by the NCAA. Not that they couldn't do it, but maybe it just didn't line up with the classes that they needed to be what's quote unquote a qualifier. So being able to tell some of that story on the back end, just a little bit, gives you an idea. So you can see that the Power 5 competition here in Scranton, and as you alluded to, having a hard time putting people in the seats sometimes, where you have a handful of our guys, and we keep referencing Penn State, it's the easy one. There's 109,000 people at their game the other day.
Right.
And just, 2 years ago, they're also playing here, So I think it gives a good inside look into the coaches, the program itself, and then just what an awesome opportunity it was for these kids to be able to get to that level. And it's something that we are so proud of as an institution, which is great.
I want to bring Tom in, because Tom, you weren't here, like we mentioned. We're not making you feel bad about it at all. It wasn't your fault.
I was on the periphery.
Yes, but being here now, and then also seeing, they sleep on us, like, what does that, like, stir up for you? Like,
I was obviously aware of the team's success, and because it was a big deal in our area when they made it to the national championship, and got on national television for it and all that. So it was, and I've watched the game subsequently since I've worked here anyway, just to kind of see it. So I knew what was going to happen. I think that was the tough part, but also it still made it interesting, was knowing how it ends, knowing how this story goes, but still kind of seeing the journey to get there, and still kind of seeing. I think the big thing that I hope people take away from it is you see Tig talking, you see a couple other guys talking about James Sackey, I think, was another one that was in there pretty prominently, talking about what they had, where they were before they came to Lackawanna. And kind of what they went through to get here, and Tig pretty much comes out and says that Coach Duda saved his life, more or less. Coming to Lackawanna did that, and Danny, you kind of mentioned it, and Chris, I know, as someone who's worked here for a long time, but before moving on to greener pastures, you have lived it too. That's kind of what we have done here at Lackawanna College, has been kind of helping these people when they need help, give them educations, give them an opportunity to succeed and go somewhere else, and kind of seeing those players testify to that, I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Tom hit on it. You've got Tig, who didn't have any opportunities coming out of New Jersey.
Right.
Now look at him.
Yeah.
You've got Keyshawn Moore, who was a bounce back from James Madison.
Right.
You've got James Sackey, who says he's the first person in his family on track to graduate from college, and then he does graduate from Lackawanna, and he moves on.
Right.
So all those different things go into making not just good football players, but good human beings.
Yeah.
So.
And I had a chance to be around them a lot that year in the weight room, especially too. And those three specifically were, true leaders, and, worked their tails off, and, never missed meetings, weight room sessions, practices. And I try to remind the guys on the team following, even this year, like, these guys that you saw play in that game didn't miss stuff. When Jair finished the 2019 season and he already signed to go to Penn State, he was here in February every day running at 6:30 a.m., getting workouts in with the other guys, not to help him, but to show guys this is the Lackawanna way. So, kudos to all those guys.
Right, and it helps build the brand that we have and the culture that Coach Duda and, Coach Bardini and Reese and everybody put together. But now you have real life examples. You're not just pulling it out of thin air saying, if you do this, this could be what happens.
Right.
It's like, here's your example of someone who's only 2 years or 3 years removed at that point.
Right. Yeah. What was your biggest challenge out there? Now, was it having to be around Coach Duda, like days leading up to a national championship game, and having actually talk to him? Like, how do you approach Coach, the legend, the Hall of Famer, saying, "Coach, I'm going to do this," and he may be saying, "Yeah, whatever, Chris. Yeah, fine.
You
yeah,
push him
you're
out of the
going
way
to
and
do
say,
that.
listen,
Right.
I need this.
Whatever.
This is a good shot.
It's
how do you approach, I'm doing this?
Yeah, so I think it's the challenge is, so let's contextualize it a little bit, right? So the team arrived in Kansas before I got there.
Right.
So a lot of the opening of the movie is their GoPro footage. That's not even my stuff. I think the trouble for me was trying to be everywhere as one guy at all times, with a camera bag on me and finding outlets and charging batteries and all that. Coach was great. And Coach even says to himself, like, he was just trying to soak it all in.
Right.
I think the trouble for me is I'm a little guy, so being around some of our players who top out at 6'6" and trying to get in huddles, you'll see there's a couple shots in the movie that I laugh at them because it's just me trying to get a shot, but it's a documentary, so I'm not cutting away from it.
Right.
There's one scene in particular in the locker room right before the game, and it's one of my favorite sequences for multiple reasons. But our team had a chant. It's not necessarily the most PG chant, right? So it's edited for the public premiere, but the football team got when they got it, they got to see the full version. But you see me, like, as Tig gets up on this bench, you see me kind of duck and move around all these players and then lock in on him. So I think that was, the hard part was trying to be everywhere and get everything. And then after that, it was finding the story and telling the story in the right way.
Right. Yeah.
The idea of making a movie, making something that now ends up being 88 minutes long.
Right.
Thinking about how am I going to make an hour to hour and a half movie, that was really hard. But when I started to chunk it out and tell the story in pieces, that made it really more achievable.
Yeah.
And Chris, you've worked for your alma mater here at Lackawanna College, but what was it like putting together a movie about something, an arm, if you will, of your alma mater? What was that like for you?
I mean, you have to realize, so I graduated in 2006. When I graduated, I never thought I was going to make a movie. Never thought I would be sitting at home and working with Adobe Premiere all the time.
Right.
And then I worked here for 9 years before I left the college in July, and then finished this thing after I left, because for me, telling the story of what happens here, and this is just a piece of what happens here, right? So, all of our sports have a purpose here, all of our students have a purpose here, and they come here because Lackawanna gives them opportunities they can't get anywhere else.
Exactly.
I think that was the most important thing that I wanted to convey in telling this story, because I'm a Lackawanna College product. And I made a movie. Yep. Tig is a Lackawanna College product, and he played for a national championship, and now he's at Penn State. And I think they're what? Are they 6-1, 5-1?
6-1.
Yeah. So
Tom would know. That's Tom's alma mater.
well, yeah. So and the Giants are 6-1, so I should know that. But I think Lackawanna College is special to me. My dad worked here before he passed away.
Okay.
When they moved actually to Angeli Hall, my dad was an employee here. He was the former director of financial aid.
Okay.
My sister worked here in public relations when they dropped the junior out of the name, and then I got to work here when we added bachelor's degrees. So there's been a member of my family here for the last 25 years for all the major developments at Lackawanna College.
Right.
So telling this story and telling it well is incredibly personal for me.
And that personal touch, which I think gives it that little extra that you might not get from someone from the outside, which usually are documentaries anyway, because someone has a passion for what they're wanting to do. So I find that there's no better person for our situation than you to be able to tell the story. So it's been great.
And it is a movie, but it's not promotional. It tells a story.
Sure. Yeah.
So
it's also promotional.
It is also promotional.
It's
not an hour-long commercial, because it does.
Maybe,
really
Tom, we like to play commercial. We'll just put bits and pieces of the They Sleep on Us and as commercials.
Well, how about Chris has some clips, but maybe what we'll do is maybe if we have something, we can play it during this episode of Falcons Corner.
All right,
Great.
So and when we talk,
we won't introduce it like it's a late night show or anything.
Roll the clip.
It'll appear at some point. Now, here's what's going on in this part of it.
And just to piggyback on what you were just talking about, because we talked a little bit last week, I give you so much credit for finishing it after you left here, right? So you could have just said, you know what, my time at Lackawanna is over. I did everything I could. I'm done. So I want to congratulate you and let everyone know that you finished and did a lot of this work on your own time.
Yeah, it was nights and weekends while I was an employee, and then it was nights and weekends after not being an employee.
Right. So I give you tons of credit. It's very inspirational, motivational. I know we have a lot of big events going on, this weekend. Like our basketball season kicks off, and we got scrimmages on the road Saturday. We got region championships that we're hosting
for
Saturday morning. Big football game on Saturday. I would hope all of our athletes, we get the message out again to all of our athletes, come watch this, because it's not just about football, it's about what school does for you, and it can motivate you to take your team and yourself to a higher level.
Those teams on Friday night.
That's what I'm saying. Friday night, 7 o'clock.
So I think it would be great to motivate our teams finishing up their season and run for championship to say, let's go Saturday morning. We're ready. This fired us up. And teams that are going into their off season to get ready for their spring season. And teams starting up. I think it's just a perfect combination of stuff too. So
I can't agree more.
As an employee of Lackawanna College, I want to thank you for what you did. It was
I'm
awesome.
super proud of it. I want everybody to show up on Friday.
I would be more proud of you if I was on camera more.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think was lacking.
There was just I brought my son to the R-rated version. He's like, Dad. I was on there a couple times. He goes, I saw you flash a couple times.
But you got good airtime when it was on CBS Sports.
Well, listen,
you were live. You were
holding the line.
As someone who watches a lot of sports and football, I know where to be.
Yep.
So I knew that they were going to focus in on Coach a lot.
So make sure you're over the shoulder.
I made sure to be near that man And then I would get messages all the. I just saw you on TV. I just saw you on TV. It's like, gosh darn right, you saw me on TV because I know I'm standing right next to him. I'm standing right next to him, and then I'll go do what I have to do. But when there's important stuff, where's Mark?
So was there ever any point when he was just like, when he just threw you, he's like, get away from me?
No, because I had a job to do also, and I was.
You did.
I was
you were
the
holding the
get-back
line.
guy.
You were the get-back guy.
And there was a scuffle late in the game in the fourth quarter that I had to run on the field, and,
which was
some
consciously
guys back and
omitted.
stuff. Yes, so it was no fun of our own. And one last thing I want to just say about it, and then we'll let you go, so you know you actually have a real job.
Another job. Yeah.
We work here, but we work.
We work here.
Yeah, so we can stay here all day because this is work. It brought up some bad memories of the terrible officiating in that game that cost us the game. That's all I want to say. It just brought up some
Are you talking
stuff.
specifically about the fourth quarter?
I'm talking about the entire game. I'm talking about the late hit they missed on us early in the game, and then the roughing the quarterback, which is, I still don't believe.
Yeah. Well, I can't. So one of our stipulations for the NJCAA was we could not rebroadcast the entire game.
Right.
So some of that we kind of skip over. But when it does get tough for our team, I mean, spoiler alert, we didn't win.
Yeah, we
spoiler.
In case you missed it.
But we don't look away when we get those penalties because I think it's important to know kind of how things occurred in real time.
And when we watched the R-rated version,
Yes.
Coach Dayton was sitting to my right a little bit,
Yep.
and then when that late hit occurred.
Yes.
When that late hit occurred on the quarterback, he let out such a groan. I'm not sure if it was because of that. I'm assuming it was, but I heard it. And I don't know if he was just had intestinal issues, or if he was real hungry, or like he's still like we're still like really like that call was not warranted, and it cost us big time. Yeah. But I did hear that, So, but thank you. It was great reliving 2019, and
my pleasure.
It's a great asset to the college, to show to our community, student athletes,
and
faculty,
I think
staff,
Friday.
everybody.
I think it's probably safe to say Friday isn't the only time that we're going to show it, but Friday is the first time that we're going to show it.
Right.
So
you tell us where we're going to watch this bad boy on.
Yes.
Friday.
So Friday, as part of homecoming weekend, Saturday we've got our game against Monroe, right?
Yep.
1 o'clock kickoff for the Saturday game against Monroe, but Friday night for me is the main event,
right?
Because 7 o'clock in the People's Security Bank Theater in Angeli Hall, we are showing They Sleep on Us, a Lackawanna College football story for the first time to the general public. I hope that so many people that I don't expect come, and I hope so many people that I do expect come, and I just, it'd be really cool to pack the theater. We're asking for a $5 donation at the door. All of that money goes back into the athletics program because for me as an alum, it's incredible to have this opportunity to potentially raise funds for a piece of the college.
That's awesome.
And I think it's only fitting that it goes back to athletics.
Yeah. Awesome.
So.
We appreciate
We
that.
appreciate everything you do. And I'm taking the authority right now. I just named you Athlete of the Week. Chris Hughes. Athlete of the Week.
Love it.
You're Athlete of the Week. Athlete of the Week. We're making it.
We already did the
Chris is
interview.
an athlete of the week. Chris,
All right.
Chris Hughes. Chris
Very cool.
Jonathan Hughes.
all that-
Christopher
Jonathan Hughes.
All that
Renaming
time
him.
riding the pine in West Scranton soccer really paid off.
Thanks for everything. Thanks for everything. Thanks for putting it together. We'll see you on Friday night.
Yeah, see you Friday night.
All right. Make sure you show up Friday night. People's Security Bank Theater, Angeli Hall, 7 p.m. They sleep on us. How dare they? How dare they? We'll be back on the Falcons Corner. Take flight.
Football plays it's an important role in my life. Just playing football really kept me on the right path.
I wasn't committed nowhere. I wasn't going to college. That's why I play for these people. They don't know, but they changed my life.
All the people who could never see them play before get to watch them play the most important game in the country. So many people over the years told us that a team from the East, not Lackawanna, but any team from the East, would never be in this game.
It's the most important game in program history.
I want to prove that we are the best. Best Lackawanna team is the best team in the nation this year.
Falcons on 3, family on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You know, we haven't lost in 22 games, and I don't think these kids believe they can lose.
Here's how I look at it. The band ain't gonna beat us. Nah. Right? The goddamn fans ain't gonna beat us. And they sure as f*** ain't gonna beat us now.
We can actually play. We can actually ball. We're gonna go out there and prove it.
You finished everything you've done all year.
And we got one more left.
Odds are we'll never be in a national championship game again.
It's going to be a great experience and a great game. And we will return to Scranton with that championship. Jabs.
Hey, it's Tom Ferguson, Sports Information Director with Lackawanna College, and we tracked down our Athlete of the Week from last week, Darlyn Uceta from Lackawanna College men's soccer. Darlyn, I realized when we picked you as Athlete of the Week, I didn't actually have a picture of you in your soccer uniform.
Yeah.
The only pictures I have are from baseball. Well, first of all, congratulations, Athlete of the Week. You scored a hat trick back against Harrisburg 2 weeks ago. Really kind of have been a big part of helping this soccer team get up and running. Obviously, we know you're from the baseball team. How did you get involved with the soccer team? How did that conversation go to get you kind of on the squad?
So I was in practice, and a soccer coach texted McCary, MC, the baseball head coach, saying if he had any soccer players, and MC said it in the group chat, and I was down for it.
Yeah.
I was like, why not? Like, I've never played soccer before. Also, it was just like my first season ever.
Well, you seem, for someone who hasn't played, you actually seem like you know a little bit about it, and have you had at least like an interest either watching it or anything like that, or
Nah,
is this
I've
just
never watched soccer or anything like that. Like,
okay.
I love playing any type of sport.
Sure.
So, like, I always had like at least one skill in one sport. So I think being able to play soccer here was pretty fun.
What was the hardest part in like that first week of when you showed
Waking
up to
up
practice?
at 5 in the morning. Waking up at 5 in the morning for practice. Once I got used to it, I felt great during the day, practicing baseball during the day too, because I had both.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how have you kind of balanced that schedule as best you could? What have you had to try to do?
So it wasn't really that hard because I had soccer practice at 5 in the morning, where I had nothing else for soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to hit at 10 in the morning. Then I had practice at 3:30. Then I had lift at 6:30 or 5:30, so it wouldn't really interrupt each other.
Right.
Even though the first week was pretty hard.
Yeah, it probably makes for long days,
Yeah.
right?
Then the second week it got easier.
How have you felt received by the soccer team? Because that's gonna be a tough situation, being kind of the new guy coming into a team. And, you know, guys that have already kind of trained together a little bit and certainly spent some time. What was that like coming in, and how have you guys kind of gelled?
I mean, I describe myself as a really good teammate player. So it wasn't really that hard for me to interact with them.
Yeah.
So since like first practice, we just clicked in. Like I just clicked in the group, you know.
Right.
I got to know everyone, talk to everyone.
Right, and obviously it kind of blossomed from there. Yeah. Scored a goal in the opening match against Lehigh Carbon.
Yeah, my first match.
Now, I was joking on the sideline because you had a couple ones that were a little close there, and I was like, he's going to score. He's going to do this.
They kept telling me, you're going to score, you're going to score, I'm going to give you the ball.
And Ahmed kicks that ball down the field, and you got on your horse and got after it.
I ran as fast as I could and just score that goal right there.
Well, how big was that? Because obviously it's big personally for you to get a goal, you know, first game and all that, but you had your teammates from the baseball team there as well.
Yes,
so was there a little extra juice?
Yeah, that motivated me more than anything on that game, having all my baseball team play right there.
Right.
And after I scored, I was very, very excited. Like they kept telling me, "You better score this game. You better score this game."
You found a way to do it, right?
Yes.
So you guys have had a lot of success on the soccer pitch already this year. 6-1. I think it's tied for the most wins that a boys team or the men's team has had in the short history here, and obviously playing in the region playoffs coming up. Coming off that loss to Mercer, you guys are down in Harrisburg. Everyone kind of struggling to get going. How did you find that extra drive to kind of will your team to win there?
So that day, I felt great. Like there's some days where I'm like, a little tired because I had left the day before for baseball. Like I try to take a light on that. But that day, I just felt great. And before the game started, I took like 20 to 30 minute warm up by myself with another teammate to get my legs ready on how ready I felt that day.
Right.
And I just went on that field like it was going to be my last game to play. and I just balled out.
And you guys got the W, kind of got that bounce back win, right? And then got another win down at Lehigh Carbon to close out the regular season. And, you know, through circumstances, now we find ourselves in an opportunity where you guys are hosting a playoff game on Saturday with a chance to play for a championship on Sunday. Certainly not something I don't think you were necessarily expecting to step into here. So what's your mindset as you kind of head into the weekend here?
So this week, just practice and work hard as a team and just play soccer.
Right.
Ball out, have fun. That's what I always think. Like, I don't play with pressure.
Right.
You know? Like, no matter how down or how up we are, like, just work, just play as hard as we can.
How has your experience maybe in baseball kind of helped your experience here in soccer? Have you kind of taken any lessons from one to the other?
So playing baseball while playing soccer made me actually faster. And I have like more endurance during baseball. So it's like made it more easier.
So you're showing up to baseball practice. And I'm sure certainly Coach McCary is certainly happy with your running ability all of a sudden, right?
Yes. I got way quicker. Lost a couple pounds.
Yeah. Does it feel, do you feel, I don't want to say that, is there like a mental block or something like that you were able to, that being in big games in baseball or playing in important games in baseball and then having to translate that to soccer and then having that, like, has that helped you as you're kind of on the field with the sport that you're just kind of still learning?
Yes, it did. What I try to always do, not to think about it too much and just like play, no matter what sport it is, like just have fun.
Just go for it.
And since I've always been experienced in baseball of like tight games or games where like we almost lose and then we end up winning, like just ball out. You know?
We're talking with Darlyn Uceta, our athlete of the week. Now, Darlyn, you're from Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
You a Phillies fan?
Yes.
So you're in a good mood. This is a great week for you. How you feeling? How you feeling right now with the World Series on the way, Astros in the way? What's your gut?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think the Philly would make it this far. So like, I'm the guy where like, if there's 10 of my team players that like the Philly, I will go against the Philly, even though I like the Phillies, just to go against my teammates and have that argument on a daily basis, you know. But I've been feeling pretty good about the Phillies. Let's hope they win the World Series now, you know. Take the Astros down. Yep,
it should be exciting. What are you studying here at Lackawanna?
Sport management.
So what do you want to do with sports management?
Honestly, I'm still undecided. What could I do with that?
Yeah.
After I graduate from here.
Yeah, and that's normal. I think for a lot of kids in your situation is playing baseball something you want to do at your next school? Is that something you want to carry forward?
Yes. So right now I'm still kind of undecided if I want to keep with my baseball career in another school.
Sure.
Or might just go home and just start working.
Right.
You know, proceed something with my major.
Right.
But I'm leaning more into going to another school.
Yeah.
See?
Well, very cool. Well, we appreciate your time. We know you're between two sports and classes and all that. We know you're a busy guy and you've got playoffs coming up and all that. We wish you the best of the luck. We wish the Falcons obviously the best of the luck and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll be back with more Falcons Corner. Stick with us. Take flight.
Imagine the innovator you could be tomorrow with an innovative education today from Lackawanna College. Our Level Up program puts high school students on an early college pathway for an easier college transition and faster degree attainment at a dramatically lower cost. That's why Fast Company named us one of the world's most innovative companies. With an education from Lackawanna College, imagine where you'll be tomorrow. This is life-changing. This is Lackawanna College. Oil and gas jobs are back. Are you looking for a life-changing experience? Lackawanna College's School of Petroleum and Natural Gas can put you on a path to a lucrative career in the production and delivery of America's energy in just 2 years. Choose from 2 degree programs or 2 certificate programs with internships that give students real-world and practical experience in the field. Lackawanna College will give you the education you need to build a career in this exciting industry. This is life-changing. This is Lackawanna College. Apply today at lackawanna.edu.
Do you notice how he held up his
a little bit longer,
so you could see Director Ferg on that? Like
I wanted to make
that's
sure
probably
it
the
got on
only
camera.
part of that that's going to be seen on camera is Director
well, his
Ferg.
face isn't on there, so
Just so you know, it was over your face, too.
Good.
I might not have even been in the whole interview with Hughes, to be honest with you. I'm out here.
You're swaying. But we're back on the Falcons Corner. Voice
We
of the
are.
Falcons, Mike Rickert, the good guy, the other co-host, Andy Berg, the SID, the director.
Director Ferg, as we know,
Yes.
our Ferg bit.
Yes, the SID Ferg. And special thanks to Chris Hughes. Make sure you get out and watch that. Like I said, as someone who was there and watched the documentary, it was awesome.
How cool is it to like see it back as being someone who experienced it, but maybe didn't see it through the same lens?
It was
like you were there.
It
for
was
some
cool
things,
because I got there a day late. I got there Friday before, or whatever night I can't remember. We played on Thursday night, so I got there the day before. So I missed them. I didn't travel with them. You know, Coach Joya was AD at the time, so we traveled together. You know, so I didn't see their arrival. I didn't see their first practice. The only things I really got to experience was the banquet and then their walkthrough the day before the game and stuff too. You know, so
were you in the locker room or no?
I was in the locker room a little bit.
Okay.
You know, but the previous SID and him and I were on the field doing some pregame, you know, broadcast that got cut out because there was music playing in the background. But they had a lot of.
I love it.
You know, but one thing I do remember is that when the equipment truck got there, all of us that were there, Eric, myself, Joya, I think even Chris might have helped a little bit, carrying the equipment into the locker room, and then we decided to set it up like really, really nice, like professionally for the guys, other than just like here, like we set them up, offense, defense, and made sure everything was like tucked away in their lockers and stuff. So seeing that one was like, oh yeah, that was really cool that we did it, just to give them some major experiences up too. So all right, but back to the now.
The now.
We can't keep looking back.
No, we gotta look
forward.
Think about where we were and where we are now.
So football finally has a game.
Yes.
They're playing Saturday, homecoming.
Yep.
We're going to honor our graduating players.
Yep. Graduating football players and
so
cheerleaders.
At 12:30, we're going to honor our football players and cheerleaders.
Yep.
We're going to have a nice little procession, announce their names, bring them out on the field, do some nice picture opportunities, and then we beat Monroe at 1 p.m. So it'll be exciting to get real football back. Tom is on the call. Are you the lead guy, and you're going to have your play-by-play guy?
I'm play-by-play, and Josh Pardini is making his color commentary debut.
I can't wait to see how many F-bombs are dropped during that telecast.
I will be honest, I am concerned.
Yes, because this is his first home game as not being part of the staff.
Correct.
As part of the athletic staff, not part of the football staff. So he will not be on the roof of the press box cursing and banging on the roof. He will be in the press box.
You're really painting this picture.
PG-13 edition of Coach Josh Pardini.
I can see Tom just sitting there and having a little, like, one of those desk doorbells.
Yep.
And you hit it, and all of a sudden it's just like anticipation. Ding!
I told him there's no cough button and there's no delay. So my hand will probably be on that pot and turning it down anytime I fear something.
That'll be good. That'll be good.
So against our rival Monroe College, it'd be nice to get back home. It's been a long time since we've been back home, but festivities start at 10 a.m. Saturday morning in the parking lot of the stadium because we have a trunk or treat for anyone who wants to come down and get some goodies. We have some of our athletic teams representing some trunks.
Annual trunk or treat.
And then we have some other events that are being put on by Student Life, I believe, like a cornhole tournament and some other stuff, maybe some food. I don't know what else is going on, Tom, but there's a whole brochure of stuff that keep Tom busy, is going to go right here. Throw that brochure right there.
Yep. It's going to
go. Is that big enough?
It might actually go over both of you, but it'll be there.
Oh, all right. So
good.
No Joe.
All right.
No Joe.
Joe holding it.
Joe's going to go right there right now.
All right. Okay. Good stuff. But Joe will also be at the game on Saturday.
He will. He's excited to be doing the stats.
Yes. And my polar bear will be excited to work alongside Joe
as a spotter.
Stuff too. So
they're getting the band back together.
Keep the Rickerts busy too.
They're getting the band
keep the
back
Rickert
together.
kids busy. Get them working.
And it's a busy weekend. Danny's also going to be in action, but he's going to be in action with the other kind of football.
Yes. So soccer. We were fortunate enough to learn that we are now hosting Region 19.
The region,
sub-region.
it's the Region 19/15/21.
So the Gulf Coast region.
Sub-regional. It is the Gulf Coast. It is. Sub-regional. Lackawanna College will be hosting Ulster Community College, the Senators, on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. at Shout Stadium over in Dunmore. And the winner of that match will play against Massasoit Community College, who's actually the number 1 seed in this 3-team tournament on Sunday at 11 a.m. Also over at Shout Stadium in Dunmore.
And those all will be broadcast on
Every game.
LackawannaFalcons.com/live.
That's right. I was waiting to see if you got it right.
That was good.
I'm on it.
You got it on that one.
I'm ready.
But everything will be there. We're looking forward. First, playoff in the first season for Coach Shiposh, and they've been working. It's nice to be home.
Yep.
Originally on the road, but things worked out differently, and here we are being able to host, and we like hosting.
Absolutely.
And you'd rather drive 10 minutes than 2 hours?
I would rather drive even more than 2 hours. Yes, because I would have been on the road. So selfishly, it definitely works out for me. And
let me ask a question since you're covering that game. Will the Big E, Elijah Berg, be in attendance on Saturday?
There's potential because it's pre-nap.
That's key.
Because that could get people
nap
out.
time could be there after 11. Like if we do the possible E-money sighting at the match, and it all depends on some logistics and some personnel that'll be in place there. And if I have the right personnel there, he will definitely be there.
All right, good.
And then with a quick having mom on speed dial in case he
home.
But as long as the weather permits, there's no reason he comes to our soccer matches.
I like E-money because he pays me. The last time I saw E-money, he gave me money. He gave me some cash.
He did.
So, I hope to see him at some point again really soon because I could use a couple extra dollars.
So yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's playoff time, and you get that win, and anything can happen.
Survive in advance.
That's it. And to be able to be on our home turf, which really is what Shouts turned into, and we can't thank the Dunmore Borough enough, and Mike Dempsey in particular. For allowing us to have the time that we do get over there. It's a great opportunity. So in a great venue, it's incredible.
Absolutely.
I know we have other things going on, but the time this episode's getting too long, we're gonna have to cut it short. For a couple of reasons. One, I got some work to do.
So do I.
I got to go to the dentist.
Yep. All right.
But we have other stuff going on. But we could save that until next week. Is that okay?
It's all scrimmages.
Our main things are
scrimmages. Men's and women's basketball are scrimmaging.
I knew he was going to do it.
Go
ahead. Go ahead.
No. Men's and women's basketball are scrimmaging this week. They both have scrimmages on Tuesday and Thursday, and I think on Saturday too. Yep. So they'll be getting ready for next weekend when they start their regular season schedules. Yep. Wrestling, they're still practicing. They'll be starting next weekend as well. Baseball just wrapped up their fall schedule. Softball, I think,
softball
wrapped up,
but they're not sure because when I talked to the ladies yesterday, they're like, "Well, we don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll have who knows." They'll have practice.
They might have it. They have to be done with it soon.
Yes.
Congratulations to our volleyball team for making it through the season. I know they kind of got
on the cusp of making the playoffs.
Just missed out on it, but Coach Shelby Morgan, congrats to her on completing the first season. I know they're already talking about.
And then we can say now. I don't think we mentioned the last week. Did we mention that Melanie was EPAC?
No, we didn't because it got announced
Melanie Pineos
midweek.
was EPAC honorable mention volleyball. So congratulations to Melanie, former athlete of the week.
Mm-hmm.
See what happens. Big things.
Yes.
You appear on the show and good things happen.
Fall conference. It's amazing and stuff too. So, and then one thing we could announce is that we have Winter Sports Media Day coming up this Wednesday. So we'll have a lot of good content coming out. In the next week or so too, with all of our basketball and soccer, wrestling.
Busy. We're wrapping this episode up 5 minutes ago.
How about keep voice busy? I got to work tonight. I got to be here tomorrow.
Yeah, he's got a lot of it. He's got to come up with all those questions for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
You do. Yeah. Well.
No, I can handle it. Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you get out to the Securities Bank Theater 7 p.m. this Friday. $5 donation. Help out the Lackawanna College Athletics. So make sure to take part in a really great event that we're having. Get the football on Saturday.
You could hit one at 11, another one at 1.
Come down the road to the stadium for football at 1.
Good.
All right, good. Have a great week, Falcons. We'll see you next week on the Falcons Corner. Take flight.